Who are we? BFOD Squad. What do we want? More barrel full of Daryl. When do we want it? Right now. Damn it. Okay. So here we go. Welcome back. Barrel full of Daryl. Season 2, episode 10. So I am dropping a dime today. Yeah, no, we're gonna do the same shit. Talk about music, movies, sprinkle in a little bit of mirth and as well as some other funky ass shit. So here we go. Shout out to all of my listeners in the beautiful state of Washington, here in the US of A. And these are the cities in the order of most downloads: Bremerton, Bellevue, Redmond, Seattle, Sammamish, Oak Harbor, Port Orchard, Renton, and Tacoma. Thank you all. I have a lot of listeners out there in the great Northwest. You guys have good taste. Of course, it helps that Megan and Kinsey they run around and put my BFOD stickers all over the place. They love it. Okay, last episode I mentioned my brother-in-law Tony. He's more than a brother-in-law. He's a good friend, and he is a great guy. He really is. Now he owns and operates an Italian restaurant in Northwest Pensacola, Florida, called Petrella's. If you are anywhere near that area and you're looking for a damn good meal at a damn good price, he's your man. But tell him Daryl sent you. Okay, weather forecast. High today, higher tonight. Mystery movie quote from last week. Badges? We don't need no stinking badges. Now that is from the original quote is from a 1948 film, The Treasure of Sierra Madre. But it is widely referenced in pop culture these days, although it has been misquoted, as in the awesome film Blazing Saddles. But the real line is, badges? We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges. Yeah, I watched that clip on YouTube. Pretty good. Mystery music lyric. Run and tell all of the angels this could take all night. Might be a bit of a tough one. Tell you about it next week. Okay, music. I guess all of you like the R.L. Burnside songs that I put up on the playlist. I got no feedback from anybody, so no gas station hot dogs for me to hand out. And I'm happy you like them. Okay, so this band I'm going to discuss today, very unique, very awesome, called the Decemberists. And I don't recall how I was introduced to this band, but I'm very thankful that it happened. They are an American indie rock band out of Portland, Oregon, led by Colin Malloy, along with Chris Funk, Jenny Conley, Nate Query, and John Moen. Now, their musical style, their genre is indie rock or indie folk. I think it's a blend of those two. And they're unique because here are some of the instruments that you hear in their music: upright bass, bouzouki, harmonica, pedal steel guitar, banjo, theremin, cello, accordion, and glockenspiel. What the fuck is a theremin? Now, their songs are basically it's storytelling with an eloquent vocabulary. And the songs range from whimsical to epic. And they often invoke historical events and themes. Now, the frontman, Colin Malloy, is originally from Montana, but to me, his singing voice sounds Irish. And you know, with a name like Colin Malloy, he's sure to have some Irish heritage. And several of the songs that he writes, they draw on Irish folklore and events. Now, they have been active since 2000, and they have released 9 studio albums, with the last one in 2024. My 3 favorite albums by them: their debut, Castaways and Cutouts, The Crane Wife, and The King is Dead. Now, the opening song on Castaways and Cutouts is titled Leslie Ann Levine, and this one just grabs my heart every time I listen to it. Here's some of the lyrics. My name is Leslie Ann Levine. My mother birthed me down a dry ravine. My mother birthed me far too soon, born at 9 and dead at noon. 15 years now, I still wander this parapet and shake my rattle bones. 15 years gone now, I still cling to the petticoat of the girl who died with me. Very sad lyrics, okay? It tells a hell of a story, and it is a beautiful song. Now, another song from this album is titled A Cautionary Song. It tells of a mother who waits until her son is asleep, and then she goes down to the harbor and basically prostitutes herself to the sailors. Basically, a gang rape going from one ship to another. And the last stanza goes like this. So be kind to your mother, though she may seem an awful bother. And the next time she tries to feed you collard greens, remember what she does when you're asleep. There's an animated video on YouTube for this song. Now, the album The Crane Wife, it contains a song called The Shankill Butchers. Shankill Butchers. And it's about a faction of the Ulster Voluntary Force, the UVF. Now, the Shankill Butchers, they're a paramilitary gang in Northern Ireland, and they were active during the Troubles from 1975 to 1982 in Belfast. Basically, they're just a gang of serial killers, and there are at least 23 known dead, and Lord knows how many unknown. But they would kidnap, torture, and murder random folks who they deemed as Catholics. And yeah, again, it's not a happy song, but it's also beautiful. Now, the Crane Wife. What the fuck is a Crane Wife? Well, it's a Japanese folk story. A poor man rescues a wounded crane, which transforms into a woman, and they get married. Now, she weaves exquisite silk using her own feathers, and he makes good money selling them. But she flies away forever when the husband breaks his promise not to watch her work. Now, this story, you know, they expanded on it quite a bit, and it's told in 3 songs: The Crane Wife 1, 2, and 3. And you can also watch Colin Malloy perform all of these songs on YouTube on the live on KEXP out of Seattle. So they have an album called The Tang, and it's based on Irish literature. Real name, I'm going to fuck this up, but the real name is Tane Bo Coilinge, also known as, in English, The Cattle Raid of Cooley. It's an epic story from Irish mythology, and it is Ireland's greatest epic, also known as the Irish Iliad. It's based in Northern Ireland, where the Queen of Connacht invades Ulster to steal a legendary bull of Cooley. Now, I guess this is not an album because it only has one song that's 18 minutes long that tells the story. And again, there's an awesome animated video on YouTube. So Colin Malloy, he studied English, theater, and creative writing while at university. And it really shows in his songwriting. I really, two reallies, enjoy his vocabulary and his intelligent lyrics and the music. It's not that often you learn of a new word or some new folklore through indie folk music or any type of music. Now, I may have given you the impression that their music is primarily melancholy, but that is not the case. Some of it, it's jaunty, happy, and I would say it's a proper blend of both. And there's also humor. Colin Malloy, in an interview, said that he primarily likes to put some humor in his songs. And now, a word from our sponsor. I'll be right back.
Hi, my name's Agatha, and my husband Duncan and I are constant listeners to the Barrel Full of Daryl podcast. We've heard so much about the town of Scratch Ankle, Alabama, we decided to take a vacation there. Well, it was a bit tough to find, but we managed after taking about 6 wrong turns. Luckily, we had the Barrel Full of Daryl playlist to enjoy along the way. Once we made it to town, we realized that Main Street is the only street they have with only one red light. At the Piggly Wiggly, we were lucky enough to meet Maggie Mae Dalton, who had flown in from Hollywood to visit her family here. We also met Ellie Mae Bubba, who no longer makes candles after she burned down Ricky Ray's meat market and bait shop. She's a cashier at the Piggly Wiggly now. We also went to the flea market behind the Piggly Wiggly. It sure was busy, but we couldn't find anything of interest to us. Sal Manila was there selling his fried seafood, and we just had to try it. It was very tasty, but we had to go back to the Piggly Wiggly for Pepto-Bismol. They must sell a lot of it. We got the last bottle. We stayed one night at Jimmy Ray's $10 a day motel, and we were thankful that it was only one night. It took about 2 hours to see all the sights in Scratch Ankle, so we're heading down to Pensacola for some beach time. But Scratch Ankle is a cute, friendly little town, and I recommend a visit. Tell them Daryl sent you. Bye, y'all.
And we're back. Okay. Movie time. Yeah. I'm going to lighten it up a bit. Comedy action film, The Fifth Element. I hope you've seen this. I love this movie. It never gets old to me. It's a science fiction action comedy film released in 1997. Written and directed by Luc Besson. And he's a French filmmaker. And he started writing the story at the age of 16, and he was 38 when the film was released. It's a very colorful film, and it's got some really weird ass set designs and costumes, mostly inspired by comic book artists. And it stars Bruce Willis as Dallas, a taxi driver and a former Special Forces major. It also stars Mila Jovovich as Lilu, an alien, and the Fifth Element. It stars Gary Oldman as Zorg, a black market dealer, basically. Ian Holm as Vito Cornelius, a priest, and Chris Tucker as Ruby Rod, a flamboyant showman. Man, what a show he puts on. Now, at the time, Mila Jovovich was 18, and this was her debut film. Now, the setting is the 23rd century in New York City. There are flying cars and such, and it's got just a hint of Blade Runner feel to it, except that it's colorful and funny as hell. But the opening scene, the movie begins in 1914, and there are aliens known as Mondoshawans, and they meet their contact on Earth, a priest of a secret order at an ancient Egyptian temple. Now, for safekeeping, they take the only weapon capable of defeating a great evil that appears every 5,000 years. They promise to return it before the great evil's reemergence. Now, this weapon, it consists of 4 engraved stones that represent the elements: earth, wind, water, and fire, as well as a sarcophagus. Now, in the 23rd century, the great evil reemerges in deep space. It's a giant living fireball, and it destroys an armed Earth spaceship as it heads toward Earth. Now, Vito, the priest, he goes to the president of the Federated Territories, and he tells them of the great evil's history, and he tells them about the only weapon that can stop it. Now, on their way to Earth, the Mondawashian spacecraft carrying the weapon is destroyed by a crew of Mangalores, we'll call it Mangalores. And they are alien mercenaries, and they are hired by Zorg, Gary Oldman, who's working for the great evil to get the weapon. And somehow, a severed hand in metal armor is retrieved from the wreckage of the Mondashawan spaceship, and it's brought to New York City. The scientists there use biotechnology to recreate the original occupant of the sarcophagus, a humanoid woman with a very long name, but thank God, they reduce it to Lilo, played by Mila Jovovich. And this is some very cool scenes when they recreating Lilu. But after being recreated and upon awakening, Lilu is frightened, and she crashes out of the lab and escapes. She ends up getting trapped on a ledge from which she jumps, and she crashes through the roof of Dallas's flying taxi. Well, he protects her, and he manages to elude the police, and he keeps her safe in his apartment. Now, she doesn't speak English, but she manages to tell Dallas that she needs to find the priest Vito. So Dallas finds the priest, takes Lilu to the priest, and the priest recognizes her as the fifth element. And she tells him that the stones were not on board the crashed Mondashoan ship, but they have been entrusted to an alien diva opera singer in a floating luxury hotel on the planet Floston. So Dallas and Lilu head off to Floston to meet up with the opera singer. Now Zorg, the bad guy, and the Mangalores, the bad guys, they've also arrived at the hotel, as well as the priest Vito. Yeah, he was a stowaway on the spaceship. Now, during the concert, the opera's going on, the lady's singing, and as soon as she's done, the Mangalores attack the audience and they kill the diva, and all hell breaks loose. A big shootout. In Dallas, eventually he kills the Mangalore leader. But as the diva is dying, she tells Dallas that the stones are inside her, and he removes them. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, Zorg finds Lilu's hotel room. He goes in and he shoots her, and he grabs a case that he thinks has the stones inside. While leaving, he sets up a time bomb and he walks away. Well, Dallas and Vito find Lilu in her room, wounded and traumatized, and they make their escape. Now, Zork has this case, and when he opens it, he finds that it is empty. He goes back and disarms the bomb at the last second, but a Mangalore sets off his own bomb, destroying the hotel and killing Zorg. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. That's 2 alerts, so act accordingly. Dallas has taken Zong's spaceship, and they all head back to Earth, to the Egyptian temple, because the great evil is coming, and they got to stop it. So they go inside this temple, and they place the 4 stones on 4 matching pedestals, and they activate them. They also place Lilu in the center, but she's despondent, and she's basically wiped out until Dallas comforts her, tells her that he loves her, and kisses her. Now, at this moment, Lilu rises up, tilts her head straight back, and emits upward a divine light onto the approaching great evil, defeating it just in time and saving the planet. Now, the scenes, and very, very fun to watch these scenes, especially when they try to activate the stones. They're basically at a loss of what to do until one of them breathes a heavy sigh on the windstone and it opens up with some sparkly shit coming out of it. So they're like, aha. They do the same with water, earth, and firestones. And for the firestone, Dallas has only 1 match, so he's got to make it happen. So back in New York City, Dallas and Lilu are praised as heroes, and they embrace inside of this recovery chamber that they get put in. Roll credits. Now this is a movie you got to see, but unfortunately, it's not streaming for free. But it's definitely worth the cost of a gas station hot dog. Tell them Daryl sent you. All right. Word of the week. Fecund. Fecund. Sounds kind of nasty to me, kind of like fecal. Fecund, fecal. Same first syllable anyway. But it has nothing to do with fecal mud or shit. What it means is highly productive, fertile, or fruitful. Yeah, it's a nice word. Here's an example of its use. Daryl must have a fecund mind to keep coming up with all this funky shit every day. Joke of the week. I asked my surgeon if I could administer my own anesthesia. He said, knock yourself out. Yeah, fucking dad jokes. Okay, question of the week. Last week I asked you how many sphincters are in the human body. And I said, we all know about the anal sphincter, but did you know that there are 2 of them? Yeah. Your anus has an internal and an external sphincter. So how many more of them are there? Well, there happen to be 60 distinct ones and millions more that are microscopic and regulate blood flow. Now, here are the major ones in the sphincter. Here are the major human sphincters. besides the two anal ones. Upper and lower esophageal, which controls food passage, and it prevents stomach acids from entering the esophagus. There's also ileocecal, medical words, man. And it controls material flow between the large and small intestines. There's also an internal and external urethral sphincters that control the flow of urine from
That blows my mind.
from the bladder. There's also sphincter pupillae, which controls pupil size. That's just a short list of the many sphincters. So, what is your favorite sphincter? New question of the week. I asked this question earlier in my discussion. What the fuck is a theremin? Theremin. I will advise you, don't wait for me to give you the answer. Go look it up and watch a video on YouTube about what it is and how it's played. It's very amazing. Okay. Thought of the week. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we would all have a wonderful Christmas. Okay, don't forget about the playlists that are swinging around out there. Especially remember that there's a season 2 playlist. Hope you have found it by now. And if you feel like it, you can contact me by clicking on the send me a text button in the episodes or directly at bfodpodcast@gmail.com. By the way, you can support this show. There's a little button on the episodes. I think they say support this show. And if you click on it, you can subscribe and send me a few dollars a month. Help me pay for these movie rentals. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it was meaningful to you. I hope you laughed. I hope you learned something. And I think we'll do it again next week if y'all are up to it. Thank you very much for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.